all for Maryland.
You're gonna
20 years in the making.
Thank you. Call to order the BZA meeting. Ask everyone to please silence your cell phones and let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Any second call the roll, please?
Sure. Don Sutton,
Here.
Jason Acevedo,
Here.
Brad Cook,
Here.
Michelle Cook,
Here.
Larry Herman, Quinn Mackin, Jessica Kingsley.
Here.
Thank you. Just want to make sure that three of you have signed in when you came in tonight. Thanks for reminding us that we have that covered. Just want to verify that the meeting was advertised, and we'll do that by starting with Lisa. If you could read let me back up. I did see in the packet that the meeting was advertised, so we do have that covered. Our first item of business is to approve the BZA minutes from May 19th, 2025. The board's had a chance to review.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for May 19th, 2025.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Mr. Acevedo,
Yes.
Ms. Kingsley,
Yes.
Mrs. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Sutton.
Yes. Thank you. So tonight we have an applicant here, BZA 25-005, filed by Tiffany Rankin, 3720 Berlin Station Road, Delaware, Ohio, 43015. Parcel number 418-240-108-0000. The applicant has requested a variance for a side yard setback for an accessory building. The parcel is plus or minus 1.24 acres south of Berlin Station Road near Dale Ford Road intersection. So that zoning clerk, please read the exhibits into the record.
Sure. Exhibit 1 is the application, 3 pages. Exhibit 2 is the Delaware County Health District permit information, 8 pages. Exhibit 3 is building plans, 3 pages. Exhibit 4 is aerial images, 2 pages. Exhibit 5 is application fee receipt, 1 page. Exhibit 6 is public hearing notice, 1 page. Exhibit 7 is advertisements, Facebook and website, 2 pages. Exhibit 8 is applicant notice, 1 page. Exhibit 9 is adjacent property notice, 1 page. Exhibit 10 is mailing list, 1 page. And the final exhibit, 11, is the certificate of mailings, 2 pages.
Thank you. So tonight we're hearing a application for a variance, 32.06 in the zoning code says the Township Board of Zoning Appeals appointed by the Township Board of Trustees may upon application grant such variances from the provision or requirements of this resolution as it would not be contrary to the public interest and shall provide written notice of its decision to the applicant. where by reason of the exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or unusual shape of a piece of property on the effective date of this resolution, or by reason of exceptional topographic conditions or other extraordinary situations or conditions of such parcel property, or the use or development of the property would immediately adjoining properties in question, literal enforcement of the requirements of this resolution would involve practical difficulties or would cause unnecessary hardship, or should have the power to authorize a variance from the terms of this resolution. So, that's the hearing in here tonight. Just want to check there. I'll ask our applicant to come up if you would and introduce yourself. Before you do that, I need you to stand and be sworn in by the zoning clerk.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. If you could just introduce yourself and give us a brief overview of the application that you're applying for.
Sure. Well, hi everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Tiffany Rankin. I live at 3720 Berlin Station. And the reason for my application here for variance is I am looking to construct a small building at my home on the side yard, which seems to be the most fitting spot for it to go. The dimensions of the building would be 16 feet wide by 32 feet long, 32 feet deep, constructed by Weaver Barnes out of Sugar Creek, Ohio. And mathematically speaking, the where I would like it to sit so that it looks aesthetically pleasing to all involved, myself and the neighbors, would not allow for the 25-foot setback required on the north yard. So the request for variance is to increase or to allow for a 5 to 10 foot variance off of the side yard in order to have the accessory building placed more centered than if it were to be attached to the garage. Dimension-wise, if it was attached to the garage and came out, then it would, I believe, meet the variance. But aesthetically, it would look like a house that had an afterthought add-on to it versus a well-thought-out design plan building.
Yeah. I've looked through see the building plan that you have.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm not clear on is Exhibit 4 shows 2 aerial images,
Okay.
but I'm not sure I understand where you're proposing to place this building on the property.
So where it would be in line with the house on the south side of the yard. So it would be, the front would be flush with the house on the south side of the yard.
And is that shown on one of these exhibits?
I believe so. I think it's where, with the septic design. Pardon me? Yeah, sorry. I don't have that in my exhibit. No, it's okay. Yes, it would be there.
Yes.
This exhibit, is this the building?
So this is the septic, we had to have the septic design drawn. So, yes, right there. So this is the main home. This is Berlin Station, this is the driveway, the main home, and then the building would sit on the south side of it, on the side yard. Yeah.
So on exhibit 2, there's the last one of the last pages of it.
It's not.
This is the proposed building.
So the concrete pad is a patio that we had. We would pour, another concrete pad to have the building constructed on. That has not been done yet.
Is it in line with, so you have like some additional drive path? Is that where it's going?
No, so the additional drive was a little basketball court that was there. It sits behind that. It will sit flush with the front of the house.
Okay.
There's a front porch, a little front porch on the proposed structure, or the structure, which will just kind of be in line with the facing of the house and the garage.
So there's a gap
Depth-wise,
between the house right now and the structure. You basically want it to be as flush as possible.
no, I want there to be a gap between, the house is a ranch, or I'm sorry, it's not a ranch, it's a split level. I would like there to be a gap between the garage and where the building starts. Preferably, I would like it to be centered in the side yard so it looks symmetric. But in lieu of that, I would like to give some amount of space between separation between the garage and the building so that there is a defined space between the two so it doesn't look like a clunky add-on.
Gotcha.
But in order to do that, to be able to do that, I would need the variance of 2 feet.
So then,
5 to 10 feet, depending on.
but for the variance, don't we have to have an exact amount?
We did, that's where
You have to have an exact amount.
what is the distance from the side of your house to your property line?
So from the side of the house to the fence is 41 feet. So if we did a 6-foot variance, that would be okay. I did the math on that.
And the building is going to be 16 wide or 32?
16 wide. 16 wide by 32 deep.
Is it going to sit the long way?
So
You're saying that it's going to be the house, a space, then it's going to be 16 across the front,
yes,
and then, with leaving that space, you're having
19
If you
feet into the variance.
yeah. So 6 feet. Rather than a 25-foot setback, it would be a 19-foot setback.
so you're,
minutes away from the property line?
excuse
Wait, listen,
excuse me,
I'm sorry.
So if your building was attached to the garage, you would be within your 25-foot setback.
Well,
So I think the question is, how much room do you want between your garage and this new building?
yeah,
Because the further you move away from the house, that's
the greater the variance.
you're
No, I understand. Yeah. So ideally, if we could have 5 feet off of the garage, from the start of the building.
It's 5 feet from, is that your 19-foot setback?
Now, the setback, we measured from the fence line. So there has not been survey of the property line. We took it to the fence. Because we certainly wouldn't infringe on the other, go across the fence.
So let me go back into how we have to make our decision here.
Sure.
And thank you for clearing up some of that, because as Michelle said, we do have to work on exact numbers.
Okay, sure.
If we would decide to grant the variance. So area variances, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall have the power to authorize in specific cases variances that relate solely to area requirements. The provisions of this resolution as will not be contrary to first policy interest. Such area variances shall be granted only in cases of special conditions involving physical conditions of land whereby a strict application of such provisions or requirements will result in practical difficulties that deprive the owner of the beneficial use of land and building involved. No variance from the strict application of any provision of this resolution shall be granted by the board unless it finds that based upon relevant facts and circumstances that the applicant has established preponderance of evidence that the applicant has encountered practical difficulties in strict application of the area zoning requirement, e.g. frontage setbacks is inequitable. In the consideration of this application for an area variance, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall observe the spirit of this resolution in way of meeting interests of the applicant and the community. Factors to be considered and weighed in determining whether an applicant has encountered practical difficulties include, but are not limited to, the following: whether the property in question will yield a reasonable return or whether there can be any beneficial use of the property without variance. B, whether the variance is substantial. C, whether the essential character of the neighborhood would be substantially altered, or whether adjoining properties where the comprehensive plan of the community would suffer substantial detriment as a result of the variance. D, whether the variance would adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. E, whether the property owner purchased the property without the zoning knowledge. Whether the owner's predicament feasibly can be alleviated through some method other than a variance. B, whether the spirit and intent of the zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance. And H, citation from Duncan versus Middlefield of 1986, 23, Ohio State 3D3. So basically, we're following these requirements as established on Duncan versus Middlefield. And those are the questions that you did answer in your application. So what I want to do is just go back and walk through this, and you can answer either by reading them exactly or adding to it.
Sure.
So if you look at the Duncan versus Middlefield, whether the property in question will yield a reasonable return, whether there can be a beneficial use of the property without the variance. And again, these questions are how the board is instructed to make their decisions.
Understand.
So, for you and for the board, please keep that in mind. So can you tell us about beneficial use if you don't get the variance this evening?
The beneficial use of the building would not be different if I did not receive the setback, the variance.
Yeah. And whether the variance is substantial. So I think that question goes back to if we're talking about a 5-foot variance, or if you're telling us you want 15 feet between the building and the house, that becomes bigger. You're getting closer to that side yard setback.
Yeah, so I don't believe that a 5-foot variance would be substantial to the zoning code.
Whether the essential character.
Can I ask a clarifying question? As we said 6-foot variance, we're saying 5-foot variance. Are you asking for a 5-foot or a 6-foot?
I would like a 6-foot, if I could have a 6-foot. If it pleases the panel, I would be okay with the 5 foot. You're welcome.
Whether the essential character of the neighborhood would be substantially altered or adjoining properties suffer a substantial detriment.
I do not believe they would.
Whether the variance would adversely affect the delivery of governmental services.
It would not.
Whether the property owner purchased the property with knowledge of the zoning restriction.
I did not have knowledge upon purchase.
Whether the problem can be solved by some other manner other than granting of a variance.
I don't believe in a cost-effective manner. It would, because the topography of the yard would not allow for a feasible addition of a building.
Whether the variance preserves the spirit and intent of the zoning requirements and whether substantial justice would be done by granting the variance.
I believe that it would.
Questions from the board?
Do we know what the height of the building, the max is gonna be?
It's on that. Good question. I believe the ceiling, it's an 8 foot ceiling, and the pitch on the roof is, no, I do not know that, but I do not know the answer at the moment.
Okay. Also, the size of the building. One place at 16 by 32, another place at 16 by 40.
So the size of the building is 16 by 32. I did not catch when I submitted this that it said 14 by 24. The builder, Weaver Barnes, caught that after I had submitted it. I reached out to Levi to ask if I could send the update in, but I never heard back from him.
Okay, but on the Delaware County, it was on the public health.
Oh, the
It has a
original.
16 by 40.
Sorry, yes. We started this process months ago. So the size of the building will be 16 by 32, 16 feet wide by 32 feet deep.
What about with the patio and the overhang?
That's all inclusive,
So it's gonna be a 16 by 32,
period. All
even
in.
the slab and everything?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay,
And then does this fit the requirement of an accessory structure? Is my next question.
What?
Does this fit the definition of an accessory structure?
Did it?
Does it fit in the eyes of the board?
Well, I guess one question I would ask is what is the use of the building?
Sure. I am a CPA by profession, so I own my own firm, and my intent I have one employee located here. My intent is to build the structure to operate my firm from the home. Currently, I rent the log cabin at the Delaware County Fairgrounds, and it is time to be an owner rather than a renter, in my opinion. So real estate in Delaware County is expensive, so as we know. So I own the land, and I was interested in building an office at my home to operate the business out of. The question was asked a while ago about traffic. Everything is virtual pretty much in what we do at my firm. So we average maybe 1 or 2 clients a week, maybe, and that takes in the heavy season of tax season, which on average it would be 1 or 2, maybe. We have 1 or 2 people coming in and out of the driveway a week. Most of the time there's none, but I do have one employee here that will come every day and work. But the design of the building it will have a small bathroom in it and a small kitchen for our use, as well as 3 offices. But ultimately, long-term wise, should I ever move from there, it could be deemed to be an in-law suite for, it would be equipped to be able to do that.
Shall you, there were accessory buildings are in the,
Well, there was one on 24-11, and then Jessica showed me it was 7. So the farm-
2416 as well, which is for,
So it's zoned from residential to housing. So there is space for accessory buildings, and I don't think it would meet technically the definition of permitted use under farm residential. So I don't know if you would need to cross-reference it to that 24. It's 24-11, and that's the one that has the height requirement.
your business. Because that's what you're planning.
What Jason, or which one are you looking at?
2416. Maybe about 3 employees.
And you're looking at 24-16?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I do not have one 24-16.
Your vote may not be calculated.
Mine 24-11 or 16 is solar.
Seems like.
Because it's a separate structure of the own house.
While we're looking at that,
Yeah.
another question I have
Sure.
for you is, have you had an estimate of what it would cost if it were, is there a differential if it was attached to the home versus non-attached? Assuming there's,
I didn't get that, I did not get that comparison, but I believe it would be negligible. All the utility, with the utility rent, the underground cost, I think the difference in cost would be probably negligible. But no, I have not done a cost comparison of the two.
Shall what other, but I'm looking at 2416.
I had 24-19, Jason had 24-16, which is an expanded home business.
2419, are you looking at 2416?
I had 24-19 as an accessory structure.
And the
Which one does it?
16 is that expanded home occupancy. Because it sounds a business because I saw the 3 offices. So that's why I'm
But
trying.
it's also a separate, it's not taking a home and turning it into an office.
Right.
So which one does it fall under?
And 2416 is the conditional use.
And this would be a conditional use.
And she hasn't asked for a conditional use through the zone at this point.
Right, she's looking for a setback, a
Right.
side yard setback.
Yes, ma'am.
And then also with the accessory structure, this no accessory building shall be located within 15 feet of the side yard or rear yard or lot line. So it may not, if it's an accessory structure and it's within that 15 feet, does she need
A setback reduction.
the setback reduction?
We'll have to ask the attorneys. That's attorney, because we have a 25-foot setback. It's FR1, and that's how it's zoned.
But with being an accessory structure, what is the one that you were looking at originally for an accessory building?
Under farm residential district, FR1, 703 talks about the uses for accessory buildings.
Does it have side?
It doesn't talk about any of that, it's just talking about the types of uses you can have. And then under 19, it also had a height requirement.
In 12 feet. But she said 8 foot high, and then you've got the roof, so 12 feet is typical. For
Yeah,
orange.
I read that section of the code and I remember thinking,
This one says 22 feet.
Oh, mine says 4.
The maximum height shall not exceed 22 feet.
oh, yeah, I remember reading that and knowing that it would be well below that. I just don't know the specific amount.
I don't know. I don't see 12. I see 22. Maximum height may not exceed 22 feet up above, but down below it's no accessory structure, so she shall exceed 12 feet in the height will be located in an easement. So it looks like a compact. Maximum height.
And is that the most updated?
This was
Text.
revised. I just got off of the desk. Updated 6/10/24.
The 24-19, all of those?
That's what I recommend at this point.
Yeah.
That's,
2419. Just read through this in case you haven't had to read it. It's section 24.19 accessory structures. Unless the regulations of specific districts are more restrictive, all accessory buildings shall be in conformity with the following provisions. In the event that the regulations of specific districts are applicable, the most restrictive provisions shall control. No accessory building shall be erected within any required front yard setback of the principal building. So that one does not apply here. Number 2, no accessory building shall be located within 15 feet of any side yard or rear spot line with the required side spot line. However, if the principal building of the property is less than 15 feet, the accessory building may be located at that reduced setback. The maximum number of permitted accessory buildings per parcel shall be 1 + 1 for each full acre parcel size, but in no case shall exceed 5 accessory buildings on a parcel. The maximum height shall not exceed 22 feet on the parcel. Under 3 acres of size on parcels 3 acres or larger, the maximum height shall not exceed 35 feet. The area of all accessory buildings added together with all buildings on the lot shall not exceed the maximum permitted lot coverage in the zoning district. No accessory building within any district shall be used for human occupancy except in accordance with an approved conditional use specified in the district. So that would be our definition of this building as an accessory building.
Mr. Smith, could you just clarify what section that is for the minutes?
It's 24.19. So, and as we continue to hear the applicant, I think I would want to point out that we're not discussing a conditional use of the property today. I think what you've described would fit within a conditional use, but I'm not sure if zoning would need.
They would need a conditional use permit submitted for that. Mine, Don, what you just said though, and I'm going to clarify, is it's conditional use, but when you start talking about employees and it says specifically on there, no occupancy in that structure. So you can build a building, but to put the people in it without getting a conditional use, right? I'd be afraid that the map that's there designates 3 offices. So that assumes somebody's going to be in those offices. So somehow in whatever your decision is, needs to clarify that.
So, I think what we're trying to get to is, if we would decide tonight on approving an area variance, you most likely would need to come back to a conditional use permit so that you can have employees in the building.
So is this how it is zoned? So I work pretty detailed with Levi on this, and kind of, I followed the direction of what was indicated to do and request for,
Sure.
and how it was, the parcel is zoned did not.
It's FR1.
Right, so as far as the need for what you're indicating, it was indicated that it didn't,
Not for a variance in the setback.
I understand,
Because you can build anything, and if they decide that you're given a 5 or 6 foot setback variance, you can build it, but how you use that building is another section. It's
sure,
called conditional use.
I understand.
Okay.
And in going through that, we discussed thoroughly what the building would be used for, and I was told I wouldn't need to do any request for conditional use. So I don't know, I'm just telling you what I said.
I'm sorry, I wasn't part of that conversation.
Yeah, I understand.
I understand what
Sure.
you're saying. During COVID and stuff, people work from home,
Yeah,
and we actually issued a few conditional use permits during that time, so people could do it. But with this one, I would be afraid that if it's approved as is, it implies there's 3 offices to me, but I don't know how the board.
We are only hearing this as an area here.
Well, at that picture, Don, I'm sorry.
We're hearing whether, we're hearing the area variance to change it to allow a setback. But we're not, this board tonight is not looking at this building and willing to give an approval for putting a business into it. That's not what's been asked of us. I'm just telling you that it's probably going to take another conversation to decide, do you take a risk at building this and ask for additional use in the future if somebody complains, or do you get conditional use before you start the building? That's really what it's going to come down to.
And you could build the building at this time and then apply for the conditional use of it.
Assuming.
In a-
we haven't-
If it would get approved, if they.
So just for your knowledge, in FR1, there's a section 7.04 which talks about conditional uses, and it references section 2416, which is about occupation and such.
Do I go ahead and read that?
It just says expand, section 70.4, within the zoning district, the following uses may be permitted, subject to the conditions and restrictions imposed by the Board of Zoning Appeals pursuant to the provisions of Article 32 of this resolution. A certificate of zoning compliance may be issued only for approved conditional use within a period of 1 year from the date of the final approval by the Board of Zoning Appeals, unless the conditional use permit specifically provides otherwise. The conditional use permit has not been used within a year of issuance, meaning there's been no active or substantial improvement of property in accordance with valid conditional use permit, or if said use is discontinued for a period of 2 years, the conditional use permit shall expire and no work may commence or continue without either renewing the use or new approval. And then section A, expanded home occupations as provided in section 2416 of this resolution. So this is an accessory building that you would be using for a business, right? So.
Yeah. 2416. 2416.
Let's go back to our area variance in the application here. I'll ask the board if there's additional questions on that.
I do have one more question about your floor plan drawing shows 32 feet from the corner to the back of the building to the front part of where all the offices are, and then this is an additional. This says 32 feet from here to here. And this is an additional 6 feet, you said, so it would be, or 8 feet, is it 40 from the front of this to the back? Or is it
I
32?
believe that it's 32 inches for all of it.
32 feet.
Or I'm sorry, yes, 32 feet for all of it.
Well, then, okay. Floor plan file
Additional questions?
For the overhang of the building, it's not going to exceed past the front of your garage.
No. No, I want it to be as flush as, as flush as with the front of the garage as possible.
What's on this parcel?
That would be next to where the building would be, like, what's on that side there.
A field. There's a field.
Now, one time, there was a proposed road. It was to straighten out Berlin Station there, was cutting back through behind those homes on Berlin. Is there any talk of that anymore? Remember going into, when they were doing the Pines, and one of them was doing a road from Berlin's, or from Old State
Pilots,
to go where the curve, like their house is on the curve right now, but to take Berlin straight behind all of those homes down to Pyatt.
what I know is there's still development going on, and there's a road that's stubbed. It goes on the pond
Pyatt,
with the little bit. We asked, last year there was a complaint about the upkeep of the property, so they mowed it, but there wasn't anything said about
and that's on the
a
back.
road or when they're gonna develop that part behind it.
My own, as you as a homeowner, if you haven't been up on the top of that, having a building close to that potential road.
I know we have some folks in the audience who might have questions. If you do, please stand and be sworn in, and then we'll take your questions.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
My name is Leslie Teeter. I own the said property adjacent. I own the field. So I do know about the proposed road that was maybe going through, and I know it's still kind of up in the air. So my concern is having a business also on my property, you know, that close to my property and things like that, if that would get developed or things like that. And where the property line is not the fence. So I don't know, a survey needs to be done to actually decide. Because even if the fence isn't the property line, it may be further onto her property that she might not have that space. So that would be my concern too, is how much space does she really have? And is she gonna need a bigger variance or things like that? And what does that do to my property then? If I decide to be, like, build a house out in the field and put my driveway out that way, so how does that affect my future on that property?
Well, if we give a variance, the structure cannot be past that variance to be sold again. So if we give a 6-foot variance, it has to be, or it would have to be, it's not going to encroach in on your property. Does that answer your question?
Does that affect a driveway going back through the property or?
Well, that there would be another discussion when you would design that, you would bring it into the township where the best location for your driveway would be. But if a variance is set, they are not to build past that.
Okay. I know, there was a timber frame home that was built behind, you know, in front of my field on Berlin after the curve. And the builder was sitting on my doorstep one day when I got home from work because they didn't do the zoning or figure out the property, same thing. So he had to take 5 feet. He's like begging and pleading for 5 feet. So I get it. I just don't want to end up in that same situation where, you know, for him to continue to build, he had to have 5 feet of my property. So you can see there's a little on the deed of my property where I was like, that's fine. So I just am concerned about where the property lines are. I know with one of the neighbors. he had issues with our fence, and we moved the fence a bit into the property line, so that might be a difference too. So I don't know if that changes the property line over time, I don't know how that works, but I'm just kind of throwing that out. I'm, concerned with whether or not that affects my property in the future, and having a business with employees and clients coming through the neighborhood. That's not what residential
I think,
and farm look like to us.
I think it goes back to, there's what's been put in front of us is a variance to build a structure. For the use of the structure, that would require a conditional use.
Right.
Which, that's a separate.
Yeah. I was just concerned about the easement and coming onto.
A pin survey seems appropriate in this case because a fence could be put within 5 feet of your property line and it could be way off.
And technically, you can take on the liability of, if you're assuming that fence line is fully on your property and you build it with the 6 feet variance, if that's what's.
And it might be 5 feet on their property.
Yeah.
It's the pin survey that's legal, binding. So,
That could just stop your building, like if they're like, oh, wait a minute, that could fit a whole lot to everything that you're doing.
Ma'am, can I get your name and address again, please?
Leslie Teeter. My address is 3732 Berlin Station Road.
You said 3732?
Additional questions? So, we're gonna read 2419, number 2, no accessory building shall be located within 15 feet within the side or rear lot line and the required sidewalk line. However, the principal building of the property is less than 15 feet from the accessory building located within the setback. So, I'm struggling with this one, that if it's not supposed to be located within 15 feet of the side lot line. We're discussing a variance that goes 5 or 6 feet into it.
That would be if they receive the conditional use.
We're not discussing the conditional use.
Right, so that's why we're just focused on the 25 instead of that 15.
I would be concerned what you just talked about on 24-19, number 5, talking about, number 6, no accessory building within any district shall be used for human occupancy. So this isn't really an accessory building if it's an office where people are going to be working during the day. That's occupancy to me. But I don't know. I would think this would go back to 2416, which is that home, expanded home occupancy business is what this sounds like. I'm not sure what Levi did, but an accessory building, because of the restrictions within the resolution, say that you can't have people in it. I guess you'd have them coming and going to move the implements in and out, but it's not an office. Whereas I think the home, or expanded home occupancy is what fits what you're trying to do better than the accessory building. Well, the setbacks also, yeah. Oh,
Jared,
I'm sorry.
we feel that 24-16 is for her physical home structure, if she would like convert her garage into an office. That would apply, not the
Well,
building.
Okay.
2416 though, does have a provision in it.
It says it up front in
Yeah.
FR1 that 2416 is the one to be used for those buildings. That's the reason.
Let me just read it so that we're clear. 2416 provision, A, the home occupation shall be carried on the confines of a residential structure within zoning district that specifically lists an expanded home occupation as conditional use or within architecturally compatible accessory buildings, which are customarily associated with residential use and character of the neighborhood. So it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, we either way, for the building, for the structure to be built, there would need to be a variance request made and a conditional use request made to use it in the spirit of what you would want to use it for.
We wanted to put a business in there, and that's what I agree with you.
I think what we're trying to provide advice here and be able to reach a decision that is going to cover you on a conditional use as well as just a variance, an area variance. I apologize that wasn't discussed with the zoning inspector for bringing that up, but I feel like if we gave you just the area variance, you're really not protected from, anyone in the community coming back and saying you're running a business there without a conditional use permit.
So what should I have asked for? Because we discussed all of this when I was working on this, and it was indicated I didn't need to do that. So assuming that what we're here for goes through, what is the next thing? The conditional use?
Yeah.
Because I had brought that up.
Again, I apologize, and we get the package that you're presented.
Yeah.
We don't, we do, our research is involved in reading your packet.
I understand.
And if we're going through this tonight, it's becoming clear to us that you probably get conditional use as well. I don't, and I apologize, I've never had this come up where we're trying to decide on a conditional use that has not been requested yet. So I don't know that we can make that decision tonight.
I even think it was setback to make a more informed decision to have the survey completed and then to know exactly the dimensions that you'd like rather than the 5 to 10 range, that 6 truly is the number you could go with 6. You have the survey to back that up, so it's also typically information that we could receive in the packet too.
And we can table that till we get the information,
Yeah.
so that you don't have to reapply.
Right, so if we table this, you would not have to pay an additional hearing fee
Would I for the conditional use?
to get the conditional use. I'm saying that what we would do is have it come back in and meet with Jerry and file the additional conditional use permit, and then have you come back for a second hearing, and we could hear conditional use and the area variance at the same time. So as far as your lot line, yes, it would be whatever we decide on the area variance, you would have to abide by that. So
Sure.
the benefit of getting the survey done is you would know exactly where that line is.
Yep.
I have one more question, if I might. When y'all were looking at 2419, you said the 15 feet applied to the easement. And when you go to 2416, is there still a 15-foot requisite there, or?
Yeah, what's the footing? That's a good question.
2419 or 2416 doesn't speak to setback. Yeah, it doesn't define the setback because it's just the conditional use. Other article.
Anything else approved is what applies during that. If you got the setback variance, then that would apply to the building that's near the business building.
But there's a big difference between 25 feet and 15 feet.
She's probably on authority.
I know, so I'm like, if I have to do this again, I'd like to narrow it down, because if it's 15 feet and I do the pin survey and all those things, I might not need a setback variance because I would fall within it. Thank you for pointing that out. So I guess for my use, so I can,
Is
So
that
does
right?
this fall back to RF1?
It's FR1, and it is 25 feet is the regulations for FR1 side
And
setback.
that's what I
And it
had.
says unless the
If you went 6, that would be 19, but you need a pin survey done with a reputable,
I always use reputable.
I thank you, but I'm not
That's
saying
fine here.
that. But making sure that you got a survey that has been bonded and all that, so that we know that that line, they have pins out there that you can go get them and measure is,
If we would grant a 6-foot variance, your building would have to be 19 feet off the property line.
Yeah.
Side yard line, so.
So FR1 in the code governs where your home is, right? That's the district zoning rules.
Yeah.
2419 is the general development standard. So generally when if it's not defined,
Okay.
that would cover it.
So FR road takes precedent.
FR1, that's what Jerry is.
So that was one
Yeah, and the other thing is that because it is FR1 district, that any business that's in, that's where the conditional use part comes in. Making sure while you're there, you can rent as a business and you have the right for offices and bathroom and all those things. But when you leave, it doesn't go with the property. It's conditional use. Just, I wrote this twice in the last 19 years, so I had to work with division, Delaware County Regional Planning, so I know most of it, but I never had to use it. Using it does make it a lot different.
So I would, and then from what we've heard on your proposed business, I think it falls within the conditional use.
I would make a motion to table this, and for the applicant to be able to submit a conditional use permit.
Along with the pin survey?
Along with the pin survey.
Well, before I ask a second, I'm going to ask the applicant if that's what you would wish to do tonight, or do you want us to vote on the area?
No, I'd like to just knock it out in one fell swoop. So if you could vote to table it and we could revisit this, it'd be great.
So I have a motion, do I have a second?
I motion to table BZA 25-005.
You already have
Oh, I didn't hear the motion, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just need a second.
I seconded it. Typical Mendoza.
Was it Brad made the motion, or it was Mr. Osby? Okay, Mr. Osby,
Yes.
Mrs. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Kingsley,
Yes.
and Mr. Simon.
Yes. Yeah, so we are going to table your application, if you would get with Jerry. We can do the information pretty quickly.
Who's Jerry?
I'm Jerry.
Okay.
We're also temporarily, we have the, one of the zoning people in Orange Township will be like Thursday. So if you want to come in, I want to make sure that we do it right by the book and give you everything that you need. I apologize because Friday was Levi's last day, so he might have some of these
Oh,
answers.
he's not here anymore?
So, yeah, I'm full of all kinds of surprises, but that said is that I was involved in the zoning and the rules, but I didn't know what you were asking for. But yeah, conditional use is a big part of it, and the survey would be very helpful to this group to be able to make an intelligent, decision.
I'm going to say that survey is not required. What would be required is when you build a property, build a building, it has to be whatever we decide that we feed off of it. So I don't know how quickly you can have that done.
It would be more beneficial to have it exactly.
If you found out you had more.
And you didn't have it laid out.
So
Yeah.
that's a different permit is what you're talking about, yeah.
Just whatever we hear on, whatever
The
numbers
zoning,
that we decide on is what.
you'll do a zoning permit after this, I guess.
Oh yeah, I have my, yes.
Lisa, coming back to hear this Since it's being tabled, do we have to advertise it again? Yeah, so.
I'm not sure how much
Because it was
time it's gonna
tabled?
take to
Well,
finish up.
there's an extra permit that's being requested.
So I need to adjust those things out there
Do what?
that you sign.
Yeah, we're gonna have another sign.
I think you guys should check with the county prosecutor on all this, because I don't know if you can actually add the conditional use permit to this application, but she might need it, I don't know, I would have someone check with, there's a lot of stuff going on here that I don't think we've ever seen before, you might check with, who is that now?
Oh, Tony.
Tony Stucker,
Okay.
yeah, he might be able to guide you guys through this, and you can even have him come to the meeting.
Yeah.
That would, maybe have him come to the meeting once we get the date set up, so he can advise you guys. This is,
Doing it right.
yeah, this is kind of tricky.
As soon as you're able to gather the information, zoning can get back to us, we'll get a meeting scheduled for you.
Okay.
Try and, we'll get a
But
decision.
let me know on the signs, because those, I have to get those made.
That could be a part of the conversation you have on Thursday.
Is it tacky if I just like cover over it and re-put a thing on it? 'Cause they're
Yeah,
not
You can't
cheap.
read them from the road anyway.
I know, they're not cheap, they're cheap to have made.
Thank you for coming in tonight. We
You're welcome.
will look forward to, get a decision for you on this. Our ultimate goal is to get this done right for you, so that
Getting programations later.
thank you. The only other item of business that I have is we are going to be having a hearing on the cell towers. And it's going to be in September.
It's there, I'm
The attorney has asked us to look at our
What month again?
September.
Okay. I cannot do it the night through the.
Back in the office, there's a,
9th through the 12th.
the document that you have is about 2 inches thick. There's like 11 copies. A tower code. Yeah. That, and it's not very,
What day is,
it's not very.
what day is Labor Day?
structured.
The first. Yeah, that one is.
You want to do the third week of September, does that work?
I was gonna ask if the week of the 2nd available.
That only goes to.
Can you do that Thursday?
Second or the 4th. And then the week of the 15th.
Are we looking at the week of the 15th?
September first
Is that what
is
it said?
closed.
Yeah.
to everything. Trustees is the 8th, PCC is the 7th. Early.
What about the 17th?
The 17th is ARB,
About the 15th.
15th is over.
What about the 24th? Or
24th is over.
is that when, it's a Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday. Versus the 15th, obviously, is a Monday.
If the 15th is agreeable, at least we're.
Yeah, but 15 is better.
Yeah.
And
15th is what?
Are we doing 6 o'clock or are we doing?
The reason I did 6 o'clock at night, I thought that was,
Yeah, I was wondering. So the 24th, I'm not sure, I won't know about the 15th. When do we have to set this by?
Does the 15th look okay for you?
I'm not sure, right now, but the 24th is not good for somebody.
Which one?
The 24th is not good,
It's a Wednesday instead.
no.
Is the 15th bad?
It might be, but so the 24th doesn't work for you. Does it mess something up really bad? I'm not sure about the 15th, but the 24th,
And again, all I'm doing is throwing up some dates.
okay. Yeah, when do we have to decide?
I would say sometime in the next 2 weeks, he would really try and firm this up. He just asked me to
Get a general time for, any time, is it any time?
36, 37, and that's been,
And not the third, right? The third doesn't work, the third doesn't work for anybody,
September third.
yeah.
The third,
Third is
I
fine.
think.
Or the 10th, wait, Wednesday's that month,
The 10th week, I can't mind.
no, 10th?
third,
The third would probably work also, does that work for everybody else? We can tentatively set it.
Or does it go with the township?
I'm gonna go on the third.
Yeah, does that work? Is it,
Fourth will be our second.
And that's like 2 days after Labor Day, so I don't know holidays, how that affects. And up here it says we're closed on the first, 2 and 3 are open.
yeah, because the trustees would meet on the
They
8th, right?
They-
So, yeah, we can set that tentatively.
at what time?
Let's see here.
6?
You can do it.
it'll still be light out. Sorry.
Huh?
I said it'll still be light out.
It's still, yeah.
The other thing was about the township administrator called today about setting up for the depositions and also meeting with the township council for the case of 3637. So nobody had replied back to her.
Did you see the email from the administrator last week or week before last?
Yeah, but she sent it
They're
to the
using the Berlin Township
email.
email.
I tried to get one.
That's my question, how'd everybody know there was even a meeting tonight? Are there no more phone calls?
Levi said he contacted you. How he did that.
I think he just said, all I got was an email.
It's
She
just
probably
the
sent it to
township.
the township
He
email.
did. It came through my township email.
I called them on my reset, they were very helpful to get back into it. And I just went to Gmail and
Yeah,
set
I don't
mine
think they count.
up on Sunday.
I know Kathy personally,
Because I
things
knew-
when she was here,
She
guys.
used to call.
She called and let you know what's going on. I don't think Levi's ever done that.
He has.
I'll find out. I tried to call him after your message came in to see how did you do that, and I didn't get it out.
I wasn't faulting, but I just wanted to plug in whatever I'm supposed to plug in.
Yes, sir.
It's on pretty low tech.
And it's your first initial here, and your last name at berlintwp.us.
Yeah, not OIT.
And then you can go there and reset your password. I had that.
Yeah, you have to do it. Have you ever used your township email? Oh,
It was on, I
you might
had all
have
of
to-
my information on the laptop that was
Yeah.
provided.
I think I used it wrong night.
Yeah.
You don't use it all the time.
Yeah.
I had a different job besides this. That was easy, and Kathy would send personalized stuff.
Right.
Levi did not do that.
Yeah, Larry, you might have to have the tech person, whoever that is, that the first time you do it, if you haven't set it up.
Yeah, there's everything.
But I
That's
think-
changing.
I had never set it up, but it went to the phone number that I called.
Oh.
You can hear it.
We
That
did.
was who it was, he got me all set.
IT made real.
Yeah.
Company name. And they tell you to call, and they'll work with you if you've got your laptop. You give them the number on it, and they'll get you, they take control of it, can help you get through any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Even adjourn so we can turn off the FaceTime or the face, the light.
If you look at that, guys, please have everybody sign our those red stickers. And that was a treat too, putting the pages, how you could print that stuff.
I'm surprised you were able to do it. It's so
Well,
hard.
kind of a one page at a time, you can't do the whole thing because it goes upside down. So we got it.
You did good, I'm impressed.
We adjourn. Turn out this.
Yeah, let me turn it, maybe take her.
My other question was, should we all call?
So September 3rd at 6 is tentative, right? And then we'll just.
The 3rd, the 15th, and the 24th. We're done?
I think so. It says it's 3